Take on this challenge. Hello, my friend. This is Clyde. Yesterday we talked about Moses and Joshua. Moses, who was effective in mentoring Joshua to becoming a leader. Moses poured into Joshua unselfishly, and Joshua rose up to become an amazing leader and successor to his mentor. Well, during the course of the day, I found myself thinking about Moses and Joshua more than usual. And somehow I felt that there's more that we can learn from that phenomenon called mentoring. So yes, we are going to dive in a little deeper today. Even when I'm old and gray, do not forsake me, my God, till I declare your power to the next generation, your mighty acts to all who are to come. Psalm 71, verse 18. I don't know if this was David's writings, but this is what I see. An older person striking a deal with God. If God would put death on hold, then this man would willingly become a mentor in the community. Sign me up, God, as the one who will tell them about you and shape them to become servants of God. I suspect God took that prayer to heart and granted his wishes. Naomi, she had a raw deal in life. She and her husband and 2 sons were doing what they thought to be right because their city was under a deadly famine, and so they packed up and migrated to a foreign country, Moab, to survive. Migration has been around since way back then. People are not afraid to go where life is better. Well, to cut a long story short, Naomi's 2 boys married girls from Moab. Her husband died, and the boys died one after the other. And the sad thing is that their wives never had children. This can be a dismal reality to live with. Naomi heard through social media that things had turned around significantly back home, and so she made up her mind to return to her country. Except she had a problem. Her 2 daughters-in-law, now widows, wanted to go with her. Why would you do such a silly thing? Is it that you're hoping to get husbands again from my family? That is not going to happen, so stay here. But one of the girls was stubborn. Ruth saw something in her mother-in-law that made her insisted on going. Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me. When Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped urging her. Ruth 1, verses 16 through 18. Sometimes circumstances choose you and make something of you that you were not thinking of. Did you hear Ruth? Naomi, I like you. I like who you are. I feel I can become a better version of myself if I stick with you. Naomi reluctantly gave in, but this forced mentorship turned out to be one of the most outstanding in the Bible. Mind you, these women were dirt poor. But Naomi started to do something that would turn things around. First for Ruth, her mentee, and eventually for her too. This was a mentorship made in heaven. I tell you, God caused Naomi to do what was later written in a New Testament book. Just listen to the brilliance of scriptures. Likewise, teach the older women to be reverent in the way they live, not to be slanderers or addicted to much wine, but to teach what is good. Catch this. Then they can urge the younger women to love their husbands and children, to be self-controlled and pure, to be busy at home, to be kind, and to be subject to their husbands, so that no one will malign the word of God. Titus 2, verses 3 to 5. Naomi and Ruth got back to Bethlehem as poor as 2 church mice, but Naomi rose to the challenge. First mentorship session went like this. Naomi began to coach Ruth in how to make a living, the art of survival when you are poor. They have a kind of food bank on the farms where they leave some food for poor people like us Naomi told her. Second mentorship session. Naomi saw something in Ruth. She is wife material. And maybe, just maybe, this young girl can become an outstanding mother. So Naomi began to teach her an old trick how to catch the attention of one of the most eligible bachelors in town, who just happened to be a relative of Naomi's. This is a great item of mentorship, to teach young people how to find a good and godly spouse. So many young people, they experiment, they make mistakes, things run afoul. But if they had proper guidance from a mentor like yourself, things could turn out significantly better. Each day, Ruth came home with food, but Naomi was always wanting to know if she was making progress in catching the eye of this handsome guy called Boaz. Her mother-in-law asked her, "Where did you glean today? Where did you work? Blessed be the man who took notice of you." Ruth 2 and verse 19. Well, when Naomi heard of some progress in that area, like they say in some circles, she caught the spirit. "The Lord bless him," Naomi said to her daughter-in-law. "He has not stopped showing his kindness to the living and the dead," she added. "That man is our close relative. He is one of our guardian redeemers." Then Ruth the Moabite said, "He even said to me, 'Stay with my workers until they finish harvesting all my grain.'" Naomi said to Ruth, her daughter-in-law, "It will be good for you, my daughter, to go with the women who work with him, because in someone else's field you might be harmed." Ruth 2 verses 20 to 22. Isn't that amazing? This story might be about two women, one being a mentor to the other. But I hope the men are listening too. You can have a great influence on future generations just by mentoring some young fellows who you can take them to an authentic place in self-development. This mentorship that you are engaged in could well be of God, and if it is, then you just need to trust the Spirit of God to keep you authentic. Be happy when your mentee is showing progress in whatever the endeavor. Be generous in your commendation. Be sincere in your tips and guidance, and be godly in your actions. Ruth eventually married this catch, Boaz, and Naomi was beside herself with delight when the newlyweds sometime later had a son. You would not believe that this son, born to the woman who Naomi almost got rid of, but eventually she began to mentor, this baby boy Obed was the father of Jesse, who was the father of the greatest king in Jewish history, David. Please, if God is leading you to take a young man or a young woman in your circles under your wings, do so honorably. Do so as unto the Lord. Trust God to direct your path. You will be sowing seeds into the future beyond your wildest imagination. Take on the challenge.